but how did you had the confidence that I can help other people do the same thing?
Well, I first started out as a life coach and moved into relationship coaching, but I went through a lot of training and I did a lot of volunteering with couples and with people and helping them with their relationships for free. I did a lot of that to build who I am, what I can offer. I did my time, so to speak. I really availed myself of training, of having a support team that helped me incredibly with doing this.
Welcome to another episode of the Love Can't Wait podcast. My name is Sharp Game, so like and share this episode. So today I have another special guest. However, before I get into that, like, subscribe, and leave me a 5-star review in iTunes. Love it or hate it, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your feedback and any topics, anything you want me to talk about. Send me any email you would like, any topics at renegademoney@gmail.com. That's renegademoney@gmail.com. That's where you send your emails. So with that being said, today I have another special guest, and she helps couples reignite their relationships, bring their relationships back to life. So if your relationship is dead as a doorknob, or y'all lost connection and you want to reinvent, reignite, bring the spark back, this is episode for you. She's a master relationship coach. She's a Wall Street best-selling author, Amazon best-selling author, and a Barnes & Noble best-selling author. And she has a brand new book out called Get Out of the Box and Into Play, The Secret to a Lasting Relationship. My special guest today is Kari. Welcome to the show. So where you from?
Originally, I'm from Indiana, but right now I live in Texas and I love it here.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Right.
that's nice. So how'd you get into the relationship coaching and giving advice and because this is not something that most of us, this is not the ideal job or career or whatever. This is not something that we dreamed about growing up, most of us. So how'd you get started?
Oh my goodness. Well, I had a whole life of, I had a lot of abuse in my life, and I'm naturally an introvert, and I paid a lot of attention to people and what they do and how the relationships were the whole time I was growing up. I sat quietly and watched and became really interested in helping people to communicate better and to find more joy and more happiness. I saw a lot of pain and misery around me, and so I knew that there was a way, and I needed to find that way. And I didn't think about coaching until after I left my first relationship. I was in a marriage for 27 years. The whole relationship was 30 years. We were high school sweethearts. And when I left that relationship, there was a lot of emotional and psychological abuse going on there. So I went to therapy and I got help, and learned that, I'm a really loving person and I love to help people love each other. So coaching, after I got through with that therapy, coaching presented an opportunity to me to do that and to help other couples to have better relationships, listen better, be close to each other, discover what real intimacy is. So many times people think that intimacy is sex, but that happens. But intimacy is really about connecting to each other on a physical and emotional level, both. So I became fascinated with helping couples. And so, somebody's got to do that. A lot of people don't want to do that, but I am absolutely amazed by relationships. They're just as individual as each of us are.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I always tell people I never wanted to do this. No, I never wanted to do this. There's people that known me since that I grew up with, and I grew up very shy. And there's people that see me today, and they're like, they can't believe that I'm doing something like that. I'm giving advice. They're like, oh my goodness, as shy as he was growing up as a kid. So, but I do agree with you. I'm kind of fascinated by the dynamics of relationships between males and females, and the different types of females and the different types of males, and the different mindsets and how people grew up and how different people connect. And they might be from a different country, and and it's interesting how people connect and how people don't connect. Sometimes a lot of that stuff, I grew to like it,
Right. I have a saying from my grandmother. She was very, very close to me. She was my love connection in my life. And she said, Kara Jane, you don't need to worry about people who are loud and boisterous and tell all about themselves. She said, the wise ones are the quiet ones. Those are the ones that are paying attention. And those are the ones that have the value behind them. And I'm really grateful to her for lifting me up that way. But I find that so true. I'm married to someone who is very extroverted and boisterous, and I know what he's thinking at every moment. And he's an incredible balance to me, because I'm really introverted and quiet and pay attention to my world and everything that's going on in my world in a quiet way. So
yeah, and the funny thing about that, people will say, well, if you're introverted, how do you do videos? How do you do interviews? How do you get on stage and speak? People will say that doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's because people have an idea of what an introvert is. They see an introvert as somebody who is unable to take care of themselves, who's shy, withdrawn, can't live their lives and do the things they want to do. Yes, I had to overcome my fear of standing up in front of people and speaking. I had to overcome being on a podcast, or recently, even still, I'm growing in my life. Recently, doing reels on Facebook. I'm like, no. And then I had to overcome that and do that. What introverts are not necessarily super shy people. It's that what I explain to people is that we require more time after that. So yes, I can stand on stage in front of thousands of people and I can give a speech. After that happens, I have to take care of me and my spiritual wellness and be calm and quiet for a while. I cannot go to another speech right away. I need downtime. And that's part of being introverted. But that doesn't stop me from doing anything I want to do in my life.
Yeah, same here. I'm like, doing videos and speaking in front of people and being around people all the time, but it wears me out.
Mhm.
Even though it's fun, it still wears me out, so, but a lot of that, my shyness, that has to do a lot with how I grew up,
Mm.
Reverend, my mom used to always say, hey, don't say that, don't do that. And, whether she knew it or not, in her mind, she was trying to, I guess, save me in a sense, or, just, have people think differently of me as a kid or whatever.
Mm.
But it didn't help me. It hindered me, because when it was time for me to, like speak my mind or do a video or give advice, I had to fight through that, So that's where a lot of that stems from when I was growing up as a kid.
Well, yeah, and I talk about that a lot with my clients, and that is about that belief system, that thing that happened to you when you were a kid doesn't have to be trauma.
No,
it doesn't at all have to be trauma. And believe me, there are no perfect parents, because there are no perfect children. We are all individual human beings, and so there's no judgment. But I try to get couples to look at their individual beliefs. What did you believe? What were you told? How were you trained by home, school, church, all of those things growing up, all of the information that you gathered to decide who you are, what you believe, all of those things. It's really important. There is not a judgment on a parent, and it's just, it was. Don't touch this, don't say this, don't do this. We had a lot of don'ts when we were kids, not a whole lot of do's, a lot of don'ts.
Yeah.
And but there's not a judgment on parents. I gave my own don'ts to my kids too. So, you just do the best you can, the very best you can do. Yeah. But because of those don'ts that I experienced and those don'ts that happened in my life, I became fearful of speaking up. I became fearful of being me. I became fearful of expressing myself. I became fearful of the whole world. And I also thought that my belief system was that if I just keep doing for people all the time, they will like me. And became a people pleaser. I'll volunteer for this, I'll volunteer for that, and doing, everything I can do. It took me a very long time to get to the point where I don't have to give you my right arm anymore. I can give you a little bit of my time. I can give you my love. I can give you some of my energy, but my right arm is going to stay right where it belongs. Yeah.
I can relate to that, being a people pleaser, because it's like I've met people, and initially when I met them, I liked them, right? And I wanted to be friends with them, but I realized that they didn't feel the same about me. So I said, over time, I said, they're just not into me like that. And that's okay. But I had a hard time with that, wrapping my mind around that after, I don't know, like a few times.
Well, because of the stuff that I grew up in, I had an abusive background and a religious background that no diss on any religion. But I had a religious background that told me that my job was to do for others and not think of me.
Yeah.
And so I thought that I was doing the right thing, but I learned later that I'm a precious child of God. and that God does not want me to be subservient to anyone except him. So, sorry if I'm bringing in things for religion, but I learned better in my life that I'm not to give away everything that I am for the sake of someone else. That's not my job. That's God's job.
Yeah.
Right.
And I realized that everybody's just not for everybody.
No.
And that's just how it is.
Well, yeah. When I look at my life, like, I'm learning lessons and I'm learning about other people and learning how they do things. I'm learning it. Not everyone is supposed to be in my path.
Yeah.
There are lessons that I'm learning and there are things that I need to grow. However, some of those people who come into my path are there for just a moment, just a breath, not just a little bit. And that's all that they were meant to be. That is the only path that they were meant to cross. They have their own way. I have my own way. And not everybody has to like me. And here was the kick for me when I got older was I don't have to like everybody else either. Yep. I love you because you are a special child of God, but I don't have to like you.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So how did you had the confidence to be able to help other people with their relationships? Because it's one thing, you had you grew up the way you grew up and you learned better and you did better, but how did you had the confidence that I can help other people do the same thing?
Well, I first started out as a life coach and moved into relationship coaching, but I went through a lot of training and I did a lot of volunteering with couples and with people and helping them with their relationships for free. I did a lot of that to build who I am, what I can offer. I did my time, so to speak. I really availed myself of training, of having a support team that helped me incredibly with doing this. I was really fortunate, really blessed to have psychologists who are willing to take me on and let me help people. So, with all that training, then I struck out on my own. And it's been a blast. It has. It's just been so much joy.
Oh, okay. No, because I've seen you get interviews on like some of the big networks, and I've seen pictures of you on stage. And when I listened to a lot of stuff you said, I could tell that it's been a fun journey, for you. I could tell,
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a hard road to get there, and I really truly believe that absolutely everything that I've been through in my life has led me to where I am today, so that all those experiences allow me to connect to every kind of people and help every kind of people.
Okay. So how'd you get involved with the veterans, military? How'd that come about?
Well, I was a military wife.
Okay.
And I'm really super supportive of military families. They don't receive all the support that most people do. Being in a military family is an institution.
Yeah.
It really is. I lived the life of going to church on the installation, going to the grocery store, commissary, going to the PX, the gas station, everything that I could possibly want was within my community. And with the exception of stepping outside of the installation to go to Walmart, and I know probably shouldn't say the name of the company, but the truth is, to step outside of the installation to go to like 1 or 2 stores, I lived my life in that closed community, and I was pretty institutionalized. I mean, really, it is a completely different life that most civilians don't understand, which I do. I mean, pretty much all of my adult life was as a military. They don't get what we on the outside get. They don't have the support. They don't have the same things. And when there's abuse that's going on in a military family, there's a shutdown because the families are terrified that their husbands' careers or wives' careers will end if there's any kind of need for help in the family. And it's still that way.
Yep.
There are many abused women who are spouses of active duty military who will never, ever say anything because the support system is just not there. I one time said one thing, and that one comment led to my active duty soldier husband being called on the carpet by his commander and being told to control his wife. Yeah. So it's just not there. The support isn't there, and I'm never gonna not talk about it. I'm never gonna not lie about it. I'm gonna keep saying what I gotta say because it is there, and it is one of the reasons why the divorce rate is over 70% with military families.
Yeah. I used to be in the Navy. I actually saw a lot of abuse and in the Navy, and the first time I saw it, I'm like, what? I'm 20 years old. I don't know what to do. Because I'm coming from a small town in South Carolina. I never seen nothing like that before. So I think there was another guy that was with me at the time. He was like, "Hey, you going in there?" I'm not going in there. I don't know.
Yeah, you're still young.
Yeah.
What do you know about helping people with domestic problems? You don't know. Yeah. And you're not supposed to.
Yeah, and in the chain of command, a lot of times they kind of want to keep it quiet, and then you have some commanders that just don't want to have nothing to do with it.
No, it's very hush hush. And let me tell you that for the active duty soldier, the life in the military is extreme high stress.
Oh yeah,
extreme stress. And a lot of people don't understand. We're going to yank you into a war zone for 6 months, 1 year, 18 months, and be away from your family, your loved ones, your country, your friends, and then we're going to bring you back home and expect you to behave normally.
Never gonna happen.
Doesn't happen. I mean, there's a lot. I love my soldiers. I really do. I love my military families. So I'm not sitting here and saying that it's all bad or anything.
No.
But my mission is to help those families to better communicate, to seek out the resources that they can find. And my unique experience is that I ran a deployment center for 6 years.
Oh, man.
I know what the soldiers look like when they went out, and I know what they look like when they came back in. You cannot even imagine how many wives came to me and brought me their husbands with traumatic brain injury and telling me, "This is not my husband. He needs help." And of course he needed help. And it was my job to go and find those resources and get help for those soldiers. It was my job to do that. Did I do it? No, but I would go to the wall trying to find those resources for those soldiers. It's you're say I was sitting in Germany, so those resources were not the same as there's no VA in Germany. They have to go home to get to the VA.
Yeah,
they got to go back to the States. These soldiers needed help right now, and that was my job, to go get them help.
Yeah,
and I burned out.
I'm not surprised.
I was working 80 hours a week on average, and I did that for 6 years and said, okay, I got to help a different way.
Yeah, because and what makes matters even worse, when you get out, they be like, hey buddy, post, you're on your own.
Well, I do say that the military, I don't know about the Navy, I just know about the Army. And the Army does try to help soldiers with transition into civilian life, but there's just no transitioning. For me, you know how you can just tell a person something over and over again? You can tell them things, but there's nothing that substitutes for life experience. No. My life in the military was over. How did I make friends and connect with people? What was your last duty station?
Yeah.
Like, hey, where have you been? And we could start talking about where we live. Get out in the civilian world, and they look at you like you gotta, carry it.
Doesn't work.
Throw it out of your head, It's like,
I've tried talking to people that's never been in the military. I don't do it no more. I just talk to the people that are veterans or people that still active. That's it.
Well, I don't. I talk to everybody now. I did successfully transition from military life into civilian life. I did do that. I can carry on conversations with people without asking them where their last duty station is. But I've been out of that since 2011. So it took a while to, no offense, but deprogram.
Yeah.
I don't go to the commissary or the PX, or I don't have anything to do with the military at all. I go to the grocery store. I go to places and organizations where it's civilian life. And the further I am away from it, the further I get myself into the civilian world. If I stayed in it, and I saw people when my ex-husband was active duty, I saw that there were people who still stayed there, who were retired, who went to church there, who lived their lives still there, and I thought, this I do not want in my life. So.
Yeah. I know people that still, they still stay around the bases or still stay on the bases. They still connect. But I found, for me, the further I get away from it, I still keep meeting veterans. I still keep meeting them, because a lot of veterans don't say they're veterans until you get to know them. And I asked one guy, asked 2 or 3 guys, and a woman too, hey, how come you didn't tell me that in the beginning? They said, because a lot of people don't like it.
Well, I think all of us out there are surprised when we find out how many people have served. There's, he puts a hat on and says, I went to Vietnam, or I served in Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. Not everybody wears a hat or wears a t-shirt to signify that. There's not, each time I see it, I thank the person for their service, but not everybody goes around announcing to other people that they did time in the service. I think most people will be surprised how many people have served.
Yeah. So what made you write a book?
what made me write a book was my love for relationships and relationship coaching. And I wanted something. I noticed that there were books out there that were 365 pages, and there was this like information about what you can do to change your entire life and your entire relationship. And I know that those books were sitting on the coffee table, and those couples were not even looking at it. And I wanted to create something with simple changes that couples could make, address their belief system, talk to them about values, and give them simple solutions to their simple problems. We as human beings, if you ask us to change everything about ourselves, and you look at all these fad diets, how long you last? Some people don't make it a month. What is the point? We are, as human beings, change is slow and simple. And if you want to make changes in your life, do little simple things. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I wanted to create a book so that couples could do little simple things to change their relationship. Simple things they could learn to communicate together. It's a whopping 108 pages. You can read it on a Saturday afternoon, and you can still go back to it and take those simple things or answer those simple questions with each other and have the discussions. Plus, part of the book is teaching them to be kids and have fun together. I don't know about you, but I grew up being told, grow up, stop playing. And I'm telling them, no, you need to play. You want to be closer, you want to have intimacy, y'all need to be playing. Go get the squirt guns, go and have a water gun fight with each other, squirt gun fight with each other. Play like your kids. You build memories, you create something special when you do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times as we get older or we become adults, people start to get too serious. Everything has to be serious all the time. I'm like, look, there's a time to loosen up. Come on.
Well, yeah, and I had to learn to get in touch with that little girl in me that could have fun and play. My husband gets frustrated. We both work from home, and my husband gets frustrated sometimes with his work, and he'll come out and he'll be full, angry face, and I'm like, you got a problem? And he's like, yes, and he's really mad about something. And instead of sitting there going, well, blah, 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 you want me to listen to you, da, 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 da. My little girl comes out and says, you want me to punch him in the face? Just cracks up. He starts laughing. I'm not going to punch anybody in the face.
No.
But the deal is that it just breaks it for him, and he finds joy and laughter and goes on. That's what we do for each other as couples. That's what couples need to do for each other. There's no such thing as 50-50 in a relationship.
Oh, no.
There are times when I'm at 20% and I'm not liking you and I don't want to talk to you. Yeah. And there are times when my husband's at 20% and he's like, I got to go do something else. I don't want to talk to you right now. Balance in a relationship is when the other person's not doing so hot, you're there for them.
Yeah.
Or you leave them alone. Give them their space, their time, what they need. And then be there when they're ready to come back, So sometimes it's 20-80.
Yeah. I think we're in a time now where this is a lot of people want things super fast. We're in a microwave society where everyone's on the clock. He's like, hey, everything has to be done at a certain point or in a certain phase, and if I'm And if I'm not seeing what I think I'm supposed to be seeing, I'm out.
Mhm. Yeah, I am absolutely here to preach to the world, to tell the world that if you want a relationship to last, you gotta work.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
Bottom line, you gotta work on your relationship, and if you're not feeling the pain of growth, that ain't gonna last. You know, it's not rainbows and butterflies every day. I don't like him sometimes. You're not going to like your husband sometimes. You're not going to like your wife sometimes. You know, but that doesn't mean the love's not there.
Exactly. You know, people act like they're supposed to be happy every day. I'm like,
I know.
I wasn't happy when I woke up this morning.
We're human beings. And I truly believe that we really are. Conflict is meant for us to grow and get closer. You know, it truly is. If I met a couple one time that says we never argue, and I just looked at them like, you got to be kidding me. Oh no, we're very, very happily married, and we never ever argue. And the question is, what are you doing in my office? Well, we're bored. Well, if you're bored, you're boring.
Yep.
You know, if there's no growth in there, no conflict, no resolution, no nothing, then your relationship is dead. Is that what they really want out there? Is a dead relationship?
I don't know.
You know, there is no such thing as rainbows and butterflies.
No.
Not in a relationship. What there is love.
Yeah.
Absolute love.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, they don't really know who they are. Just as a person. Yeah, because I'm close to this one woman in particular. I've known her for I don't know, 12 years now. She don't really know who she is. You know, and every once in a while I say little things. She don't get it. It kind of goes over her head. She's like, you know, I don't want to do that. I just want to do whatever I'm doing. And she doesn't even understand why I like being around her. She thinks that like she's just a regular old woman. That's it. It's like it's kind of weird. I think a lot of people are like that. They don't really know who they are and what they're capable of. They just, I'm just another person, you know.
Well, what I am is a Kari. You know, what I am is a Kari. I'm Kari. I'm just me. You know, and my belief is that I'm a diamond. And there are many, many facets and many, many places that my mind can go because I was, I'm a human being and all human beings are diamonds. Yeah. And they all have different talents and gifts and different facets of who they are, but they're all diamonds. Everyone, you, me, everyone is a diamond. And I all of that is special, and I'm not sure what happens to people where they believe they're vanilla flavored, because there's no vanilla flavored human being. They don't exist. No. You know, I've heard people say, well, I don't have any gifts or talents. Oh yes, everybody does. Yeah. Everybody does. There is no vanilla. We're all absolutely unique beings.
Yeah, I agree 100%, you know. So who's your, ideal clients in a perfect world? Is it couples, singles? Or it could be veterans.
Well, I help veterans free of charge. So that has nothing to, it doesn't matter if they're single in relationships or couples. Veterans are not charged by me. But for outside of that, I love I love couples. I really do. And it doesn't matter what kind of couple, actually. You know, if you're in a long-term relationship, that's kind of my qualifier. And I especially really, really enjoy couples who feel like everything's dead in their relationship. And I love to bring them down the path of reignition and reconnection. You know, I love to bring them down the path of how did you get here and where did you come from? And it is amazing. The results are amazing to watch them fall in love all over again.
That's nice. You know, so what I can imagine people come to you for all sorts of things. You know, from the you know, maybe the relationship is dead, you know, or no connection, or you know, I can only imagine, you know. But who do you I guess what couple do you really like working with?
Oh, wow. Well, I really love it when I have couples who have been together for a long time and they their children are grown and gone, and they're sitting in front of me and saying, who is this person and why am I married to them? You know, they've spent a life of doing what I call reporting instead of communicating, you know, taking care of the kids, doing the job, doing the house, doing all this stuff, getting all of these things accomplished that they need to accomplish. And when the kids are grown and gone, they don't know each other anymore. And my favorite thing to do is to bring them back to where they were when they started.
That's great. You know, we need more people like you out there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, if people want to work with you, where would they go to?
highestintentcoach.com. And if you go there, there's a PDF in there that you can sign up for that's free of charge, and it's called 50 Things Couples Can Do for Fun. So, you know, you want a little bit more excitement and a little more joy, you can sign up for that. It's some things are a little racy, but not too racy, but a little racy, you know. But it's a great PDF to have.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace. If you like this video, share this video. And if you want to support my channel, click the thanks tab and leave me a donation. 2, 5, 10.